Aristotle said, know thyself. Self-knowledge is one of the most difficult kind of knowledge to acquire because it takes time to reflect, critique, acknowledge yourself, to get to know yourself better. Hello, friends, and welcome to this channel, Journey Towards Self-Awareness. My name is Miss Kibuthu, and I'm your guide along this journey. On this channel, we talk about self-knowledge, self-development. We journey towards self-awareness, step by step, episode by episode. And I hope that you will find some vital information, some tips that will help you towards your journey to self-awareness. Now, every one of us has a voice right here in our heads. And that is what we shall be discussing today. How can we calm down that voice in our head? How can we use it as a tool to help us to get to know ourselves better? The voice in our heads, the voice in your head, in my head, is there for a purpose. More often than not, for most people actually, it is negative. It critiques you, it calls out your faults. Not so often does it commend you for what you've done well, but that's because it's been put there to protect you from danger. You can train your mind to think positive thoughts. The voice in your head is not necessarily you per se. It's not what you stand for, but it's developed over time based on your background, your upbringing, your experiences, your circumstances. Say if you have experienced a lot of negative situations, mainly when you're growing up as a child, that voice will tend to be very, very negative. It has seen a lot. So how do you change your mind to be more positive over time? That is a skill, and it's part of being self-aware. So, self-aware people know and acknowledge that they have a voice in their head, and that voice is not necessarily them. That voice is not necessarily you, but it does have a purpose. The second thing you will know as you go along this journey of being self-aware is that you have the ability to calm that voice and to direct that voice and to use that voice to your advantage. Say, for example, you're headed to a date or a job interview and you're nervous. The voice that is more often than not negative says, remember the last time it didn't even work out? You didn't get the job. Oh, you spent a lot of time talking to this person and it didn't go anywhere. What can you do? Do you turn around or do you keep advancing towards your goal? Most of us will go to that interview and we end up very nervous and sweaty. The tool you can use is when you learn how to be self-aware, to recognize that voice is really just warning you and trying to protect you from danger of another non-productive interaction, or from danger of another interview that may not necessarily result to a job offer, is to calm that voice down and remind yourself that that's okay. I have been there before, but I'm still going to try and do it again. This is not the last time. I'm safe. It is okay. I'll manage. I mean, sometimes we might appear like we are crazy, but the difference is that most of us don't voice our thoughts out loud, that because then we would be categorized as being crazy. But this voice keeps going on and on and on in our head, and it drives us crazy, for real. So being able to calm that voice down will be very, very helpful and it will actually be a tool that you can use towards self-awareness. Because when you take time to reflect on why am I thinking these thoughts, you're already steps ahead in knowing yourself. And once you start training yourself to get away from that voice, then you are way ahead in the journey of self-awareness. The next thing that you will remember or you will realize, as actually these 3 facts which we have spoken about, is that I do have a voice in my head, and that voice, it's not a true representation of what I stand for. That voice is part of my being, and its purpose most of the time is to protect me from danger. Number 3 is that I have learned that I need to calm that voice, or I have learned how to calm that voice and reason with that voice for the best outcome of the situation that I'm in. Self-aware people continually, it's a loop, go through these points over and over again. And the 4th thing would be to know, what tools do I use to enhance this voice towards positivity, so that it's not always giving me negative thoughts, it's not always protecting me from danger. You can train your thought trail and the voice in your head to actually give you ideas to be in line more with your intuition, because those are 2 different things. Often you will get signals or downloads, or whatever term you like to call it. Intuition tells you one thing and your voice tells you something contradicting. More often than not, we listen to the voice, but we need to get to a point where we listen to our intuition, and that is how we become more and more self-aware. So once you have those 3 things in line, once you acknowledge that voice and you're not afraid of it and you're not a critic of it, you will find that you're more vast with your thinking, how your thoughts go, and you're able to guide yourself back to the track where you want to be, to reason more effectively and to make better decisions about yourself and about the issues in your life that you are working on. So those are the 3 things that I wanted to share with you today on self-awareness and the voice in our heads and how to calm that voice in our head. We shall be reviewing more about calming the voices in our heads and the tools that we can use in our upcoming episode. For now, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share these with a friend. Let's help as many of our friends, our family members, our colleagues become more self-aware for a better community. Thank you.